Okay, good morning, everyone. Let me introduce myself. My name is Aris Prabawa. I'm a head of solution architect for public sector in AWS Indonesia. So I'm currently handle government, healthcare, education, and non-profit, managing a team of solution architects that help customers to solve their problem using cloud solution. And I'm very happy to be here today to be in the Genomic event to share about how AWS can help to secure your genomics use case. Yeah, so this is very important because we are dealing with protected healthcare information. So genomics can also refer to individual. So I think it's important to be able to for me to share how we can actually help to ensure that you are be more safe to use AWS and talk about the security of a feature of AWS and also data sovereignty. So data sovereignty is about how you be able to control your data, right? You'll be able to control where you put your data, yeah, depending on the regulation. So if it's in maybe you need to put it in Indonesia. So how do you do it, and how you'll be able to protect your data from others? Yeah. So you want only you and your users, authorized user, to be able to only access your data, and how you'll be able to protect it. Yeah. So I'll talk about that in more detail in the next 30 minutes. But before that, I want to share about introduction about a little bit about AWS Cloud. So AWS, Amazon Web Service, is a subsidiary of Amazon.com. So as you know, Amazon.com is e-commerce, right? They started in 1995 by Jeff Bezos. So over the years, from 1990s to 20,000s, they are growing very, very big, and that e-commerce actually requires to have a very robust, high available and scalable infrastructure and cloud platform. So internally, Amazon.com actually has a team that manages this over the years. And then in 2023, we decided why not to use or open this platform that already be scalable, secure to the public. So in 2006, we finally launched AWS, and so far we already been 17 years serving customers around the world. Our customer is more than 1 million across different industries. So if you are currently using internet platform like Zoom, Netflix, yeah, Grab, actually it's running on AWS. Yeah. So in terms of the location, we spread across 33 regions across the world. So region is where we are placing our data centers, and I'll talk about that in detail in the later slide. We also have 143, the most compliant standard that cloud provider has, yeah, including ISO, SOC, HIPAA, and so on. In terms of innovation, we have more than 200 services, many services that will be available for you to be used. Yeah, and we are very different with the other company. Normally company will increase their cost over time, but we already reduced our time 133 times since we launched AWS. And our infrastructure is currently powered by green energy. So in Indonesia, we are collaborating with PLN, the National Electricity Company, to provide solar energy, 210 megawatts, to power our data center. And let's move gear to the challenge of leveraging and managing genomics data. So genomics data, as maybe you know, one individual can take more than 725 megabytes of data. And also it can be more than gigabytes, yeah, 90 gigabytes of genomic data. So it's very, very large. And if we can imagine that right now Indonesia has 280 million population, around the world we have maybe 7 billion of population. So managing this large data, it's very, very challenging for on-premise. Yeah, because you have to have a lot of investment in, to be able to handle this large data and also the growth. The other one is the power. Yeah. So once you have the data, how to be able to do a sequencing, for example, or do a compute. It is also very challenging and usually takes a lot of time, yeah, like days or months to be able to provide some result. And sometimes it also requires some data set to be combined each other. And the other most important things is also how you able to protect your health information. So when we talk about data sovereignty, so AWS, it actually the definition of data sovereignty is varies, but in AWS we have these 4 elements of digital or data sovereignty. Yeah. So the sovereignty is kedaulatan, ya. So kedaulatan data, meaning that how we can control our data, protect it, and also control who can access the data. So first element is how you control over the location of your data. So I want to know where my data is, right? And control what data is stored and transferred all the time. Yeah. So I want a transparency on that. The second one is how I want also to protect my data, right? I want to be able to encrypt it. I want to be able to also the third one is I want to also monitor who can access the data. Yeah. Last thing is I want to be able to show to the regulation to the regulatory body that I also comply with the regulation. So this all I want to talk about more detail how AWS can help you to achieve this security and also data sovereignty. First one is control over the location of the data. So in AWS we have 33 regions around the world. So the largest or cloud provider, yeah, and one of them is actually in Indonesia. So we have a region in Jakarta. So the 3 means the 3 availability zone. Availability zone means the cluster of data center. So it means that every region, for example, in Indonesia, we are not only having one data center, but we have multiple data centers to ensure that you have reliability and high availability infrastructure and solution. So what it means if I place my data in AWS in Indonesia, CGK region, yeah. So first is you have you ensure that your data is actually located in Indonesia, right? So you comply with the regulation. The second one is durability. So as I mentioned before, every region has what we call availability zones, meaning availability zone is where our cluster of data centers located. So in Indonesia we have 3 availability zones that spread across the distance. Yeah, so it's not in one location on one building, a different area. So it's not like that. It's different location. Maximum is 100 kilometers of each other, so that you get high speed of connectivity, but also minimum risk of double disaster. And the last one is full customer control. So because you have control of the location of your data, we also ensure that only you can access your data. We will provide you with the services to encrypt your data and also to protect your data. And one of the service that we have is AWS Control Tower. It is basically a guardrails. So for example, I want to ensure that if I want to deploy my data, I want to ensure that my other user, for example, I have developer, I have database administrator, I have other users, will not be able to deploy it outside my country, for example. So this service will actually provide you guidelines for that. So every time your operator, for example, your user wants to deploy your data or transfer the data outside Indonesia, this control will help you to block it. So the data will be able to be placed or transferred outside Indonesia. Yeah, so we have a preventive control. So every time we want to deploy application, it automatically configured to be deployed in Indonesia. Yeah, we have also a detective control, right? So if there's any change, it will automatically be detected. Yeah, so let's say I want to transfer my data, for example, then this outside Indonesia, this service will able to block and also remediate that. Second one is verifiable control over data access. So I want to know who can access my data, right? At any times. So we also have tools to monitor that. One is AWS Identity and Access Management, where we can we can configure our user roles, right? What kind of data that they can access, the location, and what kind of operation that they can do. For example, they cannot create, they cannot delete, they can only view the data. So it can be configured with the AWS Identity and Access Management. We have also AWS IAM Access Analyzer that monitor the traffic that between your system to the external system. We have also AWS CloudTrail, which is our auditing services that we log every access, every operation that your user are doing. For example, they are opening the files, they are accessing the files, they are logging. Everything is logged into the AWS CloudTrail, and also AWS CloudWatch is to monitor the infrastructure, for example. And we also have our statement here that we put in our website. So we prohibited, we restrict. Our system are designed to prevent remote access from even AWS personnel. So even AWS cannot access your data. So we set this in our website for any purpose, including service maintenance. Right. So for example, you have any problem, even our support will not be able to access your data, except you allow us to do so. So we always want to get your concern first. And then if there's any law, for example, law regulation that requires access to your data, we have also first is to challenge the request and then compare with our regulation. Is the request valid, for example? Before and then we also talk to the customer first that we have this request from the government body, for example. So how we are able to protect even AWS operator, right, to access your data? So we have our hypervisor. Hypervisor is called Nitro system. So it's different with other technology. So usually hypervisor is located in one host. You have a physical server with multiple virtual machine. Hypervisor is located or installed in your hardware host. But in AWS we actually separate this system so that the management of the hardware, networking, monitoring, storage is actually outside the host, and there's no operator access to be able to access your data. And okay, and it is not only us that say that. So you may think, okay, AWS say that no AWS operator access, but it is your claim, right? So we actually engage with the large security group called NCC to actually test our ecosystem, and then this is the result that based on the assessment, there is no gap between what we say that AWS operator has no access to your data to their assessment. The third one is how you can secure and protect protected health information and intellectual property. I just want to share that in AWS we operated in shared responsibility model, meaning that security is shared responsibility. It's a shared responsibility between AWS and you, because AWS cannot access your data. We don't know what you install, we don't know what you put there, but we are responsible for what is inside in our infrastructure and platform. Customer responsible for the security in the cloud, meaning that they are responsible for the application and data. But we provide customer for couple of services like encryption, network firewall, and so on to protect your data. And these are some of the services for data protection on AWS. So we have, for example, we have Amazon Messi. It's our machine learning services that able to browse your data and then identify which data is actually PII. We have also KMS. KMS is our key management services that allows you to create and rotate your key for your encryption. We also have Cloud SSM, which is the hardware security modules to also protect your key. We have a certificate manager for protecting your data in transit. Private certificate authority for also protecting your data for your private resource, and also security manager for protecting your username and password. For example, if you want to use database, so that you don't want to put your username and password in your code, so we can also protect that from disclosure. And we also support encryption everywhere, so we able to encrypt your data, whether it is in transit, so it's transit between services to outside AWS, whether your data is in the storage and also being used in memory. And all services support encryption. And also we go beyond that. So a lot of customers asking who manages the key for your for encryption, for example. So AWS can also provide customer to also be able to manage your own key. If you don't trust AWS, to protect to manage the key, you can use your own key management system located outside AWS to protect your data. So just to summary on the data protection. So we do protection end-to-end from the data movement. So we provide a security in transit when you move your data to AWS, and then security at rest when you store your data in AWS with KMS and Cloud SSM, and then between the services and your user, we also have AWS IAM to protect your resource, and also manage the authorization and authentication. We have also IAM and also secret manager, and also how can I also prove the security and compliance to auditor. We have also several tools, including AWS Artifact, where you can search and find the regulator report. And also, we also provide best practice how to be able to also secure your data based on best practice. The last one is compliance. So AWS has the largest compliance security as well. So we have 145 compliance and security standard, including ISO, SOC, HIPAA, HITECH, and so on. So, before I end my presentation, I just want to share the customer story. So, in Indonesia, actually, we have a couple of customers already in healthcare. Yeah. But one of them is Halodoc, and also we have a lot of SAP on AWS with a lot of hospitals. We also work with Ministry of Health for working on their application. But this one is related to the genome. So Munich Leukemia Lab actually has a challenge to store and operate genome sequencing on their on-premise environment. Now, and then they move to AWS, and they are using Frankfurt region, to comply with their requirement because they are in Germany. They use EC2 FPGA, which is a special compute for life science, and able to do genome sequencing quite faster, and S3 also to store the data. So in the end, MLL is able to do genome processing from 20 hours to 3 hours, achieve regulatory compliance, and also provide a secure environment for this genomic data. So key takeaways, what is the difference between AWS and the others is one, storage. So we provide you a freedom to choose which AWS region which you can store your content. So if you're in Indonesia, you have to comply with the regulation, you can use AWS region in Indonesia. Security, your customer also has freedom to choose how your content is secure. We provide services for you to protect your data in transit, at rest, and in memory. AWS also prohibited our system from external access, including AWS operator access. We will not disclose customer content, unless it is required to do so by court. And then we will validate the court. We will challenge the court. We will inform the customer before we are doing so. And in security assurance, we have 143 security and compliance standards to be able to and then it is independently validated by third-party independent assessment. So with that, I conclude my presentation. Thank you so much.